Today's story is about a boy who is very smart in studies, but he has many shortcomings, like he doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't meet people, and he doesn't have any friends. And seeing this, his parents one day bring a girlfriend for him in the house, after which something happens to him that we are going to see in this story. So, hello friends, my name is Aisha, and in the beginning of this story, we see a girl named Maddie leaving home early. Because today, a government employee named Gary was seizing her car. Actually, before her death, Maddie's mother took a loan from the bank for her and built a house and left it for her. So now Maddie's many boyfriends, and now that car was going out of his hands, she starts to make Gary go crazy. Then a boy in underwear comes out of the house, seeing whom Gary gets jealous. But Maddie tells Gary that he is my cousin who has come from Italy. Then the boy comes to Maddie and starts sticking to him, seeing whom Gary understands everything about Maddie, and picks up Maddie's car and leaves. And now, because Maddie did not have a car, she goes out for her work while skating. While there, Gary leaves his car on the road and goes to a shop. Then Maddie sees her car on the road while skating. After that, she goes there and starts her car from the tow truck and starts running. But then we see that Maddie forgot to open the rope from the tow truck, so the car was not able to move forward. Then Gary sees everything from inside the shop and comes out and picks up the car again. And Maddie fails to run away with her car. Now we see that Maddie goes to her friend Sarah and her husband Jim and tells them everything, and says that now how will I pay the loan of the bank without the car? Then Sarah finds a second-hand car for him in OLX. But Maddie says, I have seen a lot of cars in OLX before. I don't think I will find a good car there. Meanwhile, Sarah sees an ad in which a rich parent wants a girlfriend of 20 to 25 years for his 19-year-old son, because that boy is very shy and is afraid of being socialized, and he has never had a girlfriend. And for this work, that rich family will give that girl a grand car as a gift. But now, because Maddie was much older than that boy, so she discusses this with her friends and decides to take their advice and go there. After that, we see that Maddie reaches the house of that rich family with great difficulty while skating, and meets the parents of that boy, meet their parents, where they say that their son is 19 years old and is very smart in studies, but the problem is that he does not go out of the house and does not even talk to anyone in the school. And he is also very afraid of small things like smoking, partying, talking to girls, and apart from studying, he only watches short videos on the phone in his free time. And if he keeps doing this, then we are afraid that how he will go to university next year and get along with other students. After hearing this, Maddie says, then what do you want? That I should stay with your son and help him to socialize? Then he says, yes, you just have to get along with him and make him a little smart. And the fear inside him, you have to get it out. And the day we see that our son is getting better, then from that day, the car that we have kept for the gift will be yours. And she should not know that we have appointed you for her. And now, she is not at home, but in the animal shop. You just have to go there and act a little bit first and make her your friend. Then we see Maddie wearing a red dress and reaches the shop. And there, on the pretext of adopting a dog, she tries to impress Percy again and again. But Percy doesn't listen to her. Instead, he gets scared inside. Then Maddie tells her that, why don't I drop you at your house today? So Percy is not ready to go with her. But Maddie insists a little and picks up her cycle and puts it in her van. After this, Percy has no way left and he gets ready to go. After this, we see that Maddie jokingly says in the van that I am kidnapping you and taking you. And by saying this, she turns the van towards her house instead of Percy's house. That's why Percy gets scared, and as soon as the car stops, he sprays paper on Maddie's face. After which Maddie gets out of the car and says that I was just kidding with you. If I had kidnapped you, why would I have brought you to my house? After this, Percy understands that he has made a mistake. Then, he immediately bathes Maddie with the water pipe in the garden. And at the same time, he gets ready to go on a date with her in the evening. Then we see that in the evening, Maddie is waiting for Percy in the club. And in a little while, Percy also comes to the club, which makes everyone laugh, because he was wearing a coat on top and a necklace instead of a paint. But Maddie praises her for her unique art. After that, a waitress comes to their table and Maddie orders a long iced tea for herself. So Percy asks her to bring a Pepsi for him. But Maddie cancels his order and orders a long iced tea for her as well. And both of them start talking while drinking the iced tea. But in the meantime, Maddie's ex-boyfriend Travis comes there. And by showing his engagement ring to Percy and tells him about how Maddie left him. So now, as soon as Travis leaves, Maddie takes Percy to a beachside. But after 8 o'clock, it was forbidden to come here and Percy did not know how to swim well. But Maddie tries to take off Percy's clothes a lot. But when he does not take off his clothes, he himself takes off all his clothes and goes into the water. And as soon as they both come into the water, some people come there and they take their clothes and start going from there. Seeing this, Maddie gets angry, and in the same condition, she comes out of the water and kills those people and drives them away. After that, she comes back into the water and tries to be intimate with Percy. But Percy says that I feel a little weird right now, and I don't want to do anything like that right now, because I don't even know you properly. Now Maddie gets angry at Percy's refusal and comes out of there and sits in the car and is about to leave. Then Percy also comes, but she doesn't let Percy come in the car and starts driving. Now seeing all this, the police also follow them. And to escape the police, Maddie takes the car very fast and leaves in front of the train. And both escape from a big accident. Now let's see that both are in Maddie's house, where Maddie starts singing and tries to attract Percy. But Percy still did not understand what was happening. Suddenly, Percy starts itching, and he sees that he has rashes. Then Maddie starts applying medicine to him, and during this time, both of them start talking to each other. So Percy says sorry to Maddie and says that nothing happened between us because of my rashes today, so we will definitely spend time together tomorrow. And they go to different places and have fun, and they spend a lot of time together, and they sit together and talk to each other. And in between the talks, Maddie tells her about her family, that how her father didn't accept her, and after some time they kiss each other, and then they meet a friend of Percy whose name is Jody, and they have a lot of talks between them. And when Percy is a little far away, Jody asks Maddie, "What are you doing here with him? Do you like kids?" I agree that Percy's parents have a lot of money, but that money is not his. That boy is a simple man. And I know girls like you very well. If anything happens to Percy because of you, I will not leave you. Now in the next scene, we see that both of them dress up and go for dinner together, where Percy plays the piano and sings on Maddie's insistence. After listening to this, everyone gets impressed and clap for him. After playing the piano, Percy's friend Natalie comes there, and she invites Percy to a party for tomorrow. And she says that I am also going to the university, so it is going to be fun, and we will go there together. She says and leaves. Now after her leaving, Percy tells Maddie that Natalie is a very nice girl. We will go together. And I am also getting my driving license made so that I can come to meet you by driving the car on weekends. And here, Percy was clearly finding out that Percy is getting attached to Maddie. And Maddie was also understanding this. After that, they both have dinner and leave. And we see the scene inside the car where Percy starts drinking alcohol. And he says to Maddie that I am ready for you. I have started loving you a lot. And now I want to be intimate with you. So on this, Maddie says that you have just had a drink. And if you can't do all this for the first time in a state of intoxication, then we will do all this some other time. But actually, Maddie was also feeling bad that it is because of an agreement with Percy. And Percy doesn't even know all this, yet he is getting serious in his love. Now, the next day, we see that Percy tells his parents that now I'm getting a driving license, which makes them very happy. But then Percy says that I have a new girlfriend whose name is Maddie, and I don't want to go to the university anymore because I have grown up and I can take my own decisions. Then we see that Percy goes and sits in his dad's car. And as soon as he leaves, his mom and dad call Maddie and tell her that the deal that we had, in which you will get a car, you can now take that car. Just convince Percy to go to the university. But Percy hears the talks between them because of the operating system of the Percy car, and he feels very bad. And he understands that the feelings in Maddie's heart for him were not love, but a deal. After that, the next day, he calls Maddie home, and even knowing everything, he makes Maddie meet his mom and dad. And while eating food, he makes a lot of fun of Maddie's age there. And then he gets up from the middle of the food and comes from there. And with the help of his friend, he breaks the car. After that, he comes back home and comes to his room and asks Maddie to be intimate with him. Maddie agrees to it. But for the first time, Percy can't do anything for a long time. And in a little while, he loses his cool. Then he tells Maddie about his car, that a tree has fallen on your car. As soon as Maddie hears this, she understands that Percy has found out everything. Percy says that I thought you really like me, but that was just my madness. On which Maddie says, no, Percy, you are thinking wrong. I really like you and I was just doing that deal to save my house. But I really love you. But still, Percy tells her to go away in anger. After that, we see that Maddie goes to her house and she is very sad because she feels that she has played with Percy's emotions somewhere. And here, Percy also goes back to his old habits where he plays games and watches short videos. Then one day, Maddie goes to Percy and tries to convince him. And she says that our friendship was true and I really have feelings for you. And because of that deal, I keep cursing myself every day. Saying this, she starts following him. But Percy still doesn't agree and he goes and sits in his car. But Maddie doesn't leave him and goes ahead of his car and hangs and tries to convince him again and again. So Percy says that I have nothing to do with you, I don't want to talk to you. Saying this, he starts driving the car. Then Maddie starts shouting and says, stop the car, I want to talk to you. But Percy doesn't stop the car, and while going, the car goes into the sea from the middle of the sea, which makes Maddie fall into the water. After this, Percy gets out of the car and brings Maddie to the shore and comes there. And Maddie says sorry to Percy, and this time Percy agrees and hugs Maddie crying. This means he has forgiven Maddie. Now in the next scene, we see that Percy gets ready to go to the university with his luggage and says bye to his parents and leaves the house. And comes out and sees that Maddie is standing in front of him, who is asking Percy if anyone wants a cab. And this romantic story ends here, showing this funny joke. So friends, if you like the story, then like the video and to watch the truth.